Hi everyone. So I am Abhi. So what I do is I tell stories every week regarding what are the planets and what do they do with me as they go on an adventure. So today we are going to see something that is very close to us. So we are going to see some of the moons of Saturn. So this is me. I am Abhi. I am the little version of Abhi. A long time ago. So this is my very big friend, the Sun. Next we have the quickest and the fastest guy, the Mercury. Then always hot-headed Venus. Then the Earth and the little moon, who is always my company, who goes around always. Then Mars. Then there is a small little gap between Mars and then there is Jupiter. Then there is Saturn with all its rings. Next is Uranus, who is always tilted to the sides, bobbling in his side head. And then there is Neptune. And in the last one, there is Pluto. Pluto is not classified as a planet, but yet still we have him as our friend because he is a very small guy. So, we saw before that what are the moons of Saturn, what are their names, when were they last visited in the last couple of years, and what was the spacecraft finding, what was its finding than the moons of Saturn. So, that was in previous episode. So we were very close to Saturn and Moon asked the questions of so many things about the moons of Saturn and yet still we wanted to know more and more. Very lot of curious questions were coming up. So I was asking, is there water in them? Because we know there is dust and ice in the rings of Saturn. So is there water, pure water in the moons of Saturn? Yes, there could possibly be, because that is what we are going to find out today. So let me introduce you again to all the moons again. So what do we know? We know that they are made up of ice and some of them are moving across the Saturn's rings in a very close, very slow pace. So what are they? They are ranging from very small moon like Pan, who's just in the size of one particular football field, to very big planet like Titan. But among this, there is one particular guy who is always spewing out water. Like he drinks water, like that he spews out all the time. That is Enceladus. Enceladus is a very white icy planet. It's all filled with all these beautiful rings and stretch marks on all its surface. There they can find a lot of water geysers. Geysers are something like sprouts of water that is coming out from the surface. It spews out like this. So you can see. So it comes out from the surface and it always goes up. Why is this so? Because heat from the sun is coming very close to the surface of Enceladus and it is pushing away all the hot boiled water from deep inside the ice. So what happens? It moves in the gravity and when it's very heavy, it goes out through the openings of the Enceladus's opening pores. So this is Enceladus. We took a very close look at it from 175 kilometers and we found a lot of activity happening in southern pole. There was a lot of cold drift temperatures coming from the bottom. Why is this so? Something is very different. So what they found out? They found out that because of the light and the heat that is coming from the sun, there is a kind of tidal activity. Tidal is something called as movement of one after the other. Where can you find tidal waves in the earth? Can anyone guess?
Can you say what is tidal again?
Tidal is coming in and going out. So it is like a movement of something which is coming in and going out.
In the ocean.
Yes, very good. Because we have a very big moon next to us. Moon is sharing our gravity and it is trying to pull and push all the time. So all the water in the surface of the earth is slowly vibrating and moving across the space. So that's why we have tidal waves. Like that, in Enceladus, there is a thick sheet of ice covering the entire moon, but inside the planet there is liquid water. So this liquid water, when it is going and wobbling, it's like taking a tumbler and trying to shake it. So inside the tumbler the water is always shaky because there are tidal waves inside. Like that, the entire planet is shaky, and from the bottom point, the water comes out. So this is how the light spectrum from that particular zone comes to be. It is filled with hydrogen dioxide, that is water. So this is how it looks. When you take a very close by, you see a lot of jets of water coming out from the southern pole of Enceladus. So you can see a lot of H2O, very little amount of carbon dioxide, very minuscule amount of nitrogen, little bit methane, and little bit carbon monoxide. So all this comes to be having a conclusion that there is water in the subsurface of Enceladus. So this is how it looks. So this is how the Cassini spacecraft took photograph of the Enceladus moon. So you can see that white color geyser coming out from the bottom. So every few hundred kilometers, this water jet goes out from the surface of Enceladus. So how does it look like from the inside? So when you cut Enceladus into two halves, inside which there is a lot of equatorial pressure because it is slightly bulged at the center, and all these water molecules will go down into the bottom, and this creates a kind of tidal stress called tectonic patterns. So this is how it looks. So in Earth also there are few places where there are natural geysers that come out in a very hot spring. So when you have a lot of volcanic activity, in India we don't have a lot of volcanoes. There are only two places in the entire Indian subcontinent that you have volcanoes. That is in either Andaman and Nicobar Islands and in Lakshadweep Islands. So the entire planet, entire India, we have very limited knowing of volcanic activity. But apart from India, there are many places where these geysers are found very natural. So they are waters trapped deep inside the Earth's core. So when they have a crack in the surface, the hot water comes out like a jet stream. It will come out. And this is how they were trying to analyze all the information that is coming from the spacecraft. So now what happens now? See, what happens is, I told you there are E from A to E. There are about 7 rings in between Saturn. So from A ring to E ring, there are many lines of forces acting. So one particular thing is, Enceladus is acting like a chaperone. Chaperone is something like you handhold something and you try to move across the space. So it will have a dance. It will like a ballet dance. It will keep dancing. So this white dot is one particular moon. This is Enceladus. Another one is called Pan. So they both move across the ring of Saturn and they create a ripple effect. So the ring in Saturn is like wavy. It is very wavy and it creates a huge space for water and dust to go around. So you can see there is small white dot. There is one particular moon and there is another moon. So all this is combiningly making a ripple effect in the rings of Saturn. So Saturn's ring is not always stationary. They are not at one place at all the time. So they are wobbling, jumping, and they are hitting each other, and they create a kind of a disc with a ripple shape. So I told you that there are many planets which share the characteristics of ice and water. So another one is Mimas. Mimas is having so much of this core built with ice that it is having a big chunk of ice thrown out every few years. So this has developed into a kind of an activity of pores and lot of craters on the surface of Mimas. Mimas is also another moon of Saturn. So now we are coming very close to the front side of Saturn. Next, moon got excited. That's so cool. We know everything about this side of Saturn because from when there is a day, there is a night. Okay, so we have a day side of Saturn. We saw everything. What about on the night side? What happens on the other side? So that is the question we are going to get answered on the next week. So what is there in the dark side, that is the far side of the Saturn. So that's it for today. And what did we see today? We saw that there is a lot of water, and one particularly Enceladus is a moon which has a lot of geysers coming out from the southern pole. There is a gravitational friction that is happening between the rings of Saturn with moons. And what is tides doing in the Saturn rings? So what kind of ripple effect happens in the rings of Saturn? So that's it for today. Any questions? One question, one person.
Sir, I have.
Yes, yes, please ask.
Will Enceladus lost the water for many years after?
How much water does it get lost?
Yes, sir.
The factors that influence it is very enormous. See, it is like so
பெரியப்பா இருக்கார்ல அங்க
it takes a lot of time. One second. So it takes a lot of time for Enceladus to give out all the liquid. So it can be said like every few years. So Saturn's orbital time takes around 12 years. So for 12 years of time, say like 50% of the time, say like uh, 6 years, it will be facing the sun side. So on that 6 years, it can give out water or geysers from the southern pole. When it goes to the behind the Saturn, it becomes very dark. So that time it doesn't have to have a lot of orbital times. So I told you
Okay, sir.
Saturn is very big. Saturn is like 11 times wider in the rings alone. So for the entire planet to go around, it will take at least one full turn takes around 12 years. So imagine so much of light has to be there on Enceladus to collect all that ice.
How
Yes, yes.
long will it take to go to Ria?
Ria, that is, I am not very sure, but it takes around 11 years, maximum of 11 years, optimally 11 years to reach Saturn. So we can obviously complete one fast.
மிரட்டுற மாதிரி கேக்குறேன்
How Saturn got
Oh, Saturn got?
how Saturn got its moons?
Saturn got its moons. Okay. It is like every other planet. So what happens is when the first development of the solar system, that is like 5 million years ago, sorry, 5 billion years ago, there was a lot of chunks of rock that was floating around. So this rocks started amalgamating into joining together to form complex round shaped things. So this round shapes became planets, very big planets, or sometimes they can be called as proto-planet. Proto means very small planet. So after some many millions of years, some protoplanets will give away some of its rock, and that rock forms into a moon or a satellite. So for Earth it is only one, but for other planets it is slightly different.
What is the biggest thing in Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. What is the biggest thing in?
Earth universe?
What is the biggest thing in universe? Okay, it can only be a supernova.
Is it black hole?
Black holes are not super big. Only supernovas are very big. Supernovas can be as big as an entire solar system or something like that. From only supernova.
How
Yes, yes. From only supernovas you can have a lot of baby stars forming. So from, say, from here to the next how do you say, next galaxy, there can be a very big supernova. Yes, next question.
how the storms come and hit the planet?
How are the stones? What wants to?
Why the stones come and hit the planets?
Because of gravity.
Saturn.
Re-
How the Saturn got its name?
Saturn got its rings. Okay. Say if you are how do you say? Okay, you have a biscuit. You have a biscuit in your hand, and you are trying to eat that biscuit. Okay, you are trying to eat it. What happens? Sometimes that biscuit, small pieces will fly away if you bite it very hard, tongue like that. So that small pieces of biscuit, when they fly out, when they have no gravity, what happens? They will float, right? So like that, very long time ago, Saturn had a big chunk of moon in its tummy. So when the tummy got full, Saturn said, this biscuit is enough for me. So it started spitting out a lot of that biscuit, and that biscuit got settled in the middle. So that biscuit is full of dust and ice.
And that is the ring, sir.
Yeah, that is the ring.
Right?
Yes.
How big is Jupiter's ring?
Jupiter's ring is very thin. It is not measured completely, but it is believed to be in the longest point. So
How much rings do Saturn have?
Saturn has around 7 rings: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
How are the planets formed?
Planets
How big is
form
Jupiter's ring?
one question at a time. How are the planets formed? Okay. I'll give you a basic example. Say if you are playing in the sand, okay, if you are going and playing in the sand, you are making a sand castle, okay, and you are making small pieces of say like a door, like a lamp post, all these things in the sand castle. Sometimes when you go away from that playground or that sand playground, someone else will come and start building their own castle, right? So like that, every time when there was a very big amount of gravity, that is you are acting like a gravity bully, and you are going and punching on that sand, and that sand gets thrown away from all that playground, and they go and settle in some other place. So if you try moving it one after the other, and if you add a little bit of all the elements like iron, mercury, copper, zinc, aluminum, everything, it becomes a very big chunk of sand. Okay, that sand chunk became the planet. And you are like a very big giant, so you are like the
It's the
size of
Big
sun.
Bang theory, sir.
Sorry.
It's the Big Bang theory, no, sir.
No, you are too young to understand the Big Bang theory, so I will
I
explain it to you
thought
when you
you.
get. I will explain it to
What's
you.
inside a What's inside a black hole? How?
Black
What's
hole.
inside a
It's a speculative answer, but I can tell you, uh, they are still scientists trying to discover what is the reason why there is uh, uh, no point of knowing what is inside. What is basically a black hole is something which is completely filled with something that is unknown to us. So inside which there is no time, no space, no elements, no nothing. So black hole is something invisible to us, and it is completely filled with black color. So what is there in the dark? So when you say something is dark, what is dark?
It's look black,
Okay, it looks black.
and we can't see anything inside.
and we can't see anything.
Yeah, similarly black hole is, similarly black hole is something which had never ever known to us for a very long time, but they exist in our universe because they are the ones who are giving out some kind of dark energy, that is throwing all the suns and moons and satellites and planets across the universe. So in the center of our Milky Way galaxy, there is a chunk of 7 closely packed black holes. These 7 black holes are giving the energy to push the entire Milky Way's star system. So there are around billion stars in our Milky Way galaxy, and each one is revolving around its own axis and rotating in its space across the center of our galaxy. So that center is
How
filled with
big?
7 black holes.
How big
That,
is Jupiter's
sir,
ring?
the black hole is powerful like a disintegrated
One at a time.
star.
One at a time.
Okay, stop.
One at a time.
How did the universe begin?
Okay. Um, so that is a very, very, very big answer. So what I will do is I will try to make it very simple. So universe began with one big sound. Doom sound it began. That's all.
How the sun formed?
That is also on the same answer. So it formed with a big sound. Doom sound it formed.
Sir,
How big
black,
is Jupiter's ring?
the stars go after they go inside a black hole.
Nobody has gone inside the black hole, Kanama, until now. So if I try to go there, I will tell you. Nothing escapes black hole.
Sir, in that black hole, the stars disintegrate, no, sir?
It is observed that it is disintegrating, but you see, uh, we are not sure what is the reason why it is happening, because after many scientists sitting across the table and trying to discuss and find answers, they are still saying that it might be so that it is losing its energy and it is getting sucked, but some theoretical assumptions, if you know what is assumption is, it is like assuming that tomorrow is a holiday for you in school, but you are supposed to go to school and sit across and listen to a teacher. Every scientist is giving new answers to that question, whether what is happening inside the black hole, because you can only see it. You can't go and take readings from very close to the black hole. Acha, today three
What
stars
is,
entered, three stars exited, so three people gave attendance at the black hole. No, nothing like that. So we don't know what is happening.
what is moon made of?
What is
Moon made of.
moon? Okay, moon is made up of almost 3/4 of the part of our earth. So it is filled with it is filled with silicon, 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 and one part with a lot of ice on the southern and the northern pole, and another few parts is made up of metallic iron. So iron is iron found in everything. So moon also has a very thin small core that is made up of solid iron. So that's why moon cannot wobble a lot. So it is fixed at one place. But every year there is a phenomenon where every year around 2 to 3 meters of the moon is going away from us. So some billion years from now, the earth will lose its gravity with the moon, and that moon will fly away from us. Some billion years from now, not now, not today, some billion years from now.
Uh, Abhi, I think kids are more curious.
Okay.
Children, if you have any questions, you can drop it in the WhatsApp group so
Okay.
that the questions will be explained in the next session. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, children. Have a great weekend.